I think that we're live. Yeah. So you can hear me if you can see this. I know that Gabe is going to be checking on YouTube, making sure that we're live and everything is all set. But we'll just act like it is. So great Monday morning, and welcome to Drawing for Tattooers. I'm James Wisdom, and this is my show. So. And we're streaming out on the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. We got a couple of quick announcements to get through because we stream this content 24/7 on Reinventing the Tattoo Network. So here's this introduction. So we don't have any ads during our shows. So just bear with me here while I get everything together. Okay, so I want to tell you about the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. And some of the other, yeah, seems like it's on YouTube. That's good. There's got the prompt. Some of the other live shows that we have going on. So we've got this show at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, Drawing for Tattooers with me, James Wisdom. It's really a fundamentals of drawing sort of thing, and I think it's really good for tattooers to learn some of the basics of drawing, but it's also good for other people too. So if you're interested in drawing or know someone that's interested in drawing, make sure to send them this way. We'd love to have you. Um, right, and so there's just a little, yeah, 8 a.m. Oh, 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern. I got a little correction. Thank you. Thank you. That's great. So, all right. So, welcome to Guy Etchison's Reinventing the Tattoo community, where tattooers, apprentices, collectors, and the curious are encouraged to join in these live streams and watch them on demand replays to meet up and learn and inspire each other in real life events that we're actually having these days. Ultimately, we want to share with each other and create better art and tattoos together. So we're beaming out 5 days a week. And with your help, we've evolved this into a quality network of live, on-demand tattoo and art shows. And it's been receiving great reviews. So thank you, everybody. We're always open to constructive criticism. But yeah, everyone seems to be digging it so far. We're having a lot of fun improving it for you too. So now, I'm not sure where everyone is beaming in from, so be sure to let us know in the chats if you're on Facebook or if you're on YouTube. So here's a quick list of where you can always find reinventing content, either on the App Store, the Apple App Store, or Google Play Store, or you can do a search for Reinventing the Tattoo. Same with YouTube. Do a search for Reinventing the Tattoo channel and Roku. If you're on Roku, you can do a search for Reinventing the Tattoo and download the Reinventing the Tattoo Roku channel. Or just go to reinventingthetattoo.com/Roku. And then I think we have 12 to 15 channels of all sorts of shows going on, like 24/7. So it's pretty great. And if you're sort of sick of just sort of binge watching Netflix or something, you can always check out our tattoo shows. They really are a lot of fun. And so if you're into podcasts, right? Let's see, podcasts. So anywhere there's a podcast store, that's Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google. All that you do is just search Reinventing the Tattoo and you'll find it. Now on to the matter of these. Let's see, I want to share my screen for just a second. Yeah, hold on a second. So, all right, hopefully I am sharing my screen with you. I want to share this one. Hold on. Let me work this out. Let's see here. Let's see, how are we doing? Yeah. Okay, that's better. Okay, so Here it is, reinventingthetattoo.com, the website. Let me make sure that I still have a script to read too. Right. So, Reinventing the Tattoo, decades of inspiring tattooers and apprentices. Let's see. Da, 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 da. So I'm sharing my screen. All right, reinventingthetattoo.com. So if we scroll down here, we're going to be able to see some of the content. And so today at 5 o'clock, we've got Let's Talk About Feelings with Robbie Ripple. Tremendous program. Please check it out. I think it's certainly worth your time. Let's see, can we get any further? Yeah. So I can just see the lineup right here. At let's see, at 11 o'clock, I believe. Let's see, I have my schedule here. Yeah. So at 11 a.m. Eastern is the Tattoo Weekly. That's tattooers, are you looking for a platform to learn? So beam in every week to the Tattoo Weekly with Gabe Ripley and Jake Meeks of Fireside, and now Lauren Gregory of Raw Pigments. So awesome show. On Tuesdays, we have Tuesdays at 9 a.m. Eastern. We have Tuesday Feels with Ricardo Sturdivant. I don't want to skip Guy at 9 p.m. Eastern. Guy hosts the reinventing exercises and critiques. Excellent opportunity there. So if you get signed up for the reinventing exercises and critiques with Guy, it's really amazing. So. All right, on Sunday, let's scroll back up here. On Sunday, we've got Skill Building Sundays with Jason Leeser. Very cool program, Jason. I always enjoy, watching it. So, thanks to everybody for all the really great content. Let's see. You can go on here, this section right here, and you can get a guide of of all the programming that's that's available 24/7 and free to you. Let's see. I'll click up here on the resources, community, just to explore the website. That's really like something that it's so much fun to do. All right, so yeah, here's our latest blogs. The VR with Aiden Dominic. That was an amazing experience. So I can't encourage you enough to check that out. Let's see. Yeah. Live in the Castro with Jesus Young. Very cool program. It's really sort of focused on the intersection of LGBTQ plus people of color and tattooing. So certainly really quality programming. Let's see. I'm going to get back on my script here. Let's see. Oh, we also have a Spanish channel. I think it may be in the maybe in the Roku. So you want to check that out if you know Spanish or know someone who speaks Spanish. It could really be it's really inclusive. So check that out. We have our tattoo history channel. And of course, against our better judgment drunk critique channel. And sometimes those can go for a long time, 8 or 9 hours. And the rule is you have to be drunk to watch it. So, so make sure to check that out. We have a good time, not too serious. It's really about community, right? All right. So, so you're right now you're watching Drawing for Tattooers, with me, James Wisdom. Let's see, go back. Yeah. So we're on the home page, right? So when you come here to the home page of Reinventing the Tattoo, you can navigate, much of our content. And then of course there's opportunities for you to enroll in the tattoo courses that are offered through Reinventing the Tattoo. So if you're a tattooer, you're brand new, you're experienced, you got a shop with apprentices, something like that, check out some of the courses that are available. You might very well, yeah, here's some of them. get access to the Reinventing the Tattoo canon. It started off as a 3-ring binder, and has grown into this incredible network. So let's see here. Back to the script, right? Okay, so all right, so we want to thanks our sponsors, rawpigments.co. Raw Pigments is the company that's getting their pigments from the source. They are acrylic free, so they don't dry out in the cup. Um, and a lot of people are using them, and they're really sticking with it, getting great results. So rawpigments.co. Check out their videos on YouTube. All right, we have worldtattooevents.com. Worldtattooevents.com is the largest and most comprehensive resource for tattoo events worldwide. And they're always updating the schedule, and conventions are happening again. So if you're interested in going to tattoo events, check out tattooevents.com. All right, Dermalize Pro in the U.S. or let's see, a Delize Pro in the U.S. rather. Sorry, it's Dermalize Worldwide. It's known as Dermalize Worldwide. It's a healing wrap. It's clear, and it's so much better for your tattoos than Saran wrap. Saran wrap isn't breathable, right? It's not designed to heal tattoos. Dermalize Worldwide is breathable. So you wrap it up, it's actually designed to heal wounds like tattoos. So check out their videos. It's known as Dermalize Worldwide or Delize Pro in the US. So you can check out that. Get some for your clients. They'll thank you for it. All right, and then so I want to give a shout out to Gabe at Tattoo Now. Gabe does technology for tattooers. He's also a part-time CTO for a bunch of different studios. And now he's got some pretty amazing software that he's rolling out. So it's a combination of many different technologies. He's been doing it for 25 years now. And so if you're interested in longevity, contact the management at Tattoo Now. Let's see, go back to the home page so we can bask in the glory, right, of the, yeah, right. So anyway, contact Gabe, right? If you need some technology help with your tattoo business, he is the guy to go and see. So contact the management at tattoonow.com. I think from streamlining communications so that there's no friction back and forth with emails and stuff, that's all, that's something that he takes care of. Personalized automated systems, it really is amazing. It seems personalized, but you're able to communicate with people at scale. And so we all know that tattooers end up talking to a lot of people. Let Gabe and Tattoo Now help you out with that. Okay, and then last but not least, GuyAtchison.com. Guy Atchison is the founder of the Reinventing the Tattoo Network. It started off as a 3-ring binder, like we mentioned, but it's evolved into some crazy books, lots and lots of massive books. So you're going to want to see all that content. You're going to want to check it out. So GuyAtchison.com, of course, ReinventingTheTattoo.com. Let's see, about 10 years ago, it really evolved from the physical object to 3-ring binder to Gabe helping bring it onto the online space. So and it's developed into this incredible network of professional artists. So let's see. So tattooers and apprentices, we have 20 different guest teachers who are involved with us. So that's really amazing. So again, that's reinventingthetattoo.com and GuyAtchison.com. Go there. His work will blow you away. Okay. Oh, be sure to leave your positive reviews of all our channels. Even though Reinventing the Tattoo has been around for decades, some of these channels and shows they're really quite new. So we love your positive feedback. We love to know what you think. We're improving them all the time. So all right, I think that we're all set. You just kind of, let's get things organized here. A lot of screens. There's a lot of screens. So bear with me, everybody. Okay, great. So, good morning to Harriet Wisdom. You're joining us from Tennessee. So nice to have you. Um, we haven't had anybody else join in, but that's all right. It's always a pleasure, to have somebody to draw with. So I think it's always really great. Um, well, I think probably the best way to get started today. Let's see, we're 15 minutes in already. That was a long intro. So if you're still with us, if you're still with us after that introduction, why don't we get warmed up here? Let me see if I can't share my iPad. Let's see. All right. Give me just a second, everybody. All right. Very good. All right. Let me see if I can share this. Hopefully this will work. All right. Cool. All right. Cool. So I've got my iPad. I'm just streaming from it. So uh, what I'm hoping to do, let's practice some of our ellipses like we like to do. And so I'm gonna just select a brush. Studio pen is fine. Um, all right. So here's something fun, and we're gonna use I'm gonna use my iPad today, and I think again, I really like to draw on paper. There's a lot of different ways that I like to approach drawing, but iPad and Procreate can be really really effective drawing tools. So to start off our ellipse practice this morning, let's see if I can make a. I'm just going to draw one real quick, but I'm going to hold it. I'm going to keep my pen on it for just a second. And it says, it should say ellipse created. So I'm going to edit the shape. I can sort of change it around as much as I want to. But the program makes a perfect ellipse for me, like a mechanically perfect one. Um, it's a really good thing. It's something that's really nice to have. What I'd like to do is I want to practice it by hand, but I've got this nice example to start from. I think that can always be a really effective way to go. You kind of have something to look at. So anyway, I'm gonna just go ahead and do ellipses, 50 of them around this ellipse, and sort of use it as my reference. So let's see, really getting used to it. Okay, great. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. I just put up another layer so that way I can continue. Sorry. All right, great. So I think I was at 30. 30. Again, I'll make one. Make one so I can look at it. Yeah. There. Good. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 40, 46, 47, 48, 49, and there's 50. Yeah, just you're getting warmed up, but again, I really can't stress enough. Like I find this practice really useful personally. Um, there are all sorts of times when hmm, there are all sorts of times when you really are when you really need on ellipse. So I'm getting some of the spinning wheel I preview. So let's see, sharing and make sure that we can actually, let's see if we're back to it. Hmm. Well, you know, if we're not streaming right now, I think it may be recording. If not, oh well, we're doing it. So yeah, you can hear through the Zoom call, right? That's cool. I guess we can see if we're on YouTube. Hmm. Yeah, it looks like it. So all right, cool, very cool. So excellent. All right, so I have a little presentation this morning, and let me see if I can find it. trying to be prepared today, but hold on. Give me just a second. Bear with me. Ah, yeah. Alrighty. So let's see. I should be able to share this. Okay, cool. Hopefully you can um, see my screen share. All right. So why should you care about your values, right? So why indeed, right? So I have today's talk is going to be about tonal value and stuff, but I think that there are some really interesting ways to think about it, and right here I have some comparisons of a couple of value scales, right? So a linear value scale, which uh, like from art class, if in high school and at college level art classes too, we study this, right? We study the linear art scale, but we also study the Lambert's value scale as well, right? And I think if you look at it, they may look similar, but there is a big difference. The linear value scale, we can see that the values all move, it's very sequential, probably about 10%, if we're going from light to the dark, right? 10% darker every time, right? From the lightest value to the darkest one. Well, over here, this Lambert's value scale, uh, we can see that it's actually a much sharper drop, right? So it's very light, stays fairly light until you get right here at the end. So you get right here at the end, then you really start seeing this dramatic shift in tonal value. So this is again, it's practicing your value scales so that way you can like have this control. This 10% step every time is really valuable. But a lot of times what we see in life when we're drawing is a lot closer to this extreme, this is much more extreme sort of relationship between the light and the dark. So all right, so I have a tonal value study here of an orange, and so this is This is one. It's done in it's done in colored pencil, but I think we can here. Let's go down. I've got I've got light moves, right? I've got some information to to sort of describe what it is that we're seeing. And so what we notice, right, that there is that is light is coming in, is hitting this object. Okay. And there's certainly, we're going to talk about it in a second, right? But there's a highlight here. Light is being scattered, it's being reflected off of this surface in all directions. And then we can see that the light rays are striking this object, right? And they're lighting it up right up until this point where the light rays are really the surface of the object. This is where we kind of find the shape of our casted shadow that's down here, right? I also have a little note in the shadow here. No light can reach this little area right here. So let's go down. I have this anatomy of the shadow just to sort of give you a little more context and some language, some ways to talk about what it is that you're seeing. So again, we've got a highlight, and that's where light is striking the object, and it's moving in all directions. And this point is probably the point that's most parallel to your eye as you're looking at it in relationship to the light. And then it's also likely it's one of the closest areas to you. That's this sort of spectral highlight that we see. Next, as we're moving down, we see the sort of mid-tone. There's a mid-tonal range of values until we get to that area where the rays of light are parallel to the surface. That's where we start to see this dramatic shift in value, the core shadow. The core shadow. A lot of different words for this, but that's what's happening, right? Light is striking this object, and then it's not illuminating it anymore. It's passing right past it. And so it's what forms our casted shadow. On the back side of the object, we have this phenomenon of reflected light. So light is definitely, it's moving in straight rays, but it's also going to strike other surfaces and come back onto the object and thus be reflected on the, in the shadow. Again, there's that little area, that shadow of occlusion, where no light is able to get to. So I think a good way to think about this sort of thing is, in like a really elegant way I've heard it said, is that your lightest dark, right, is going to be darker than your darkest light, right? So, this reflected light, that's usually going to be where you see it's the lightest of the dark area, right? It's this sort of reflected light. But it should be darker than all your midtones. That's just how it's structured, how light is structured. And it makes sense, right? Because you're just getting much more light up here and less light down here. So it's just not as strong, but we still see it and we look at it. So I think it can grab our attention. So it really is it's a common thing to do to light this reflected light too much. And there are ways to sort of accentuate it, I think, with color, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But I think a good way to sort of notice it. Squint your eyes. So if you squint your eyes, you're really going to see a much stronger pattern of light and dark. Not to make your eyes go blurry. That's not really the point. But instead, rather that you're really kind of like you're really just squinting them down. You're really sort of revealing much more of the tonal value structure. So here is here's my example. Let's see if I can sort of show it. Great. So I did a couple of studies, and just to kind of illustrate this relationship of tone and color. And so I've got these different styles, the tonal study, monochromatic, and full palette. Well, let's talk about it just a little bit, right? Here we go. I went ahead and turned them all to grayscale so we could really see that there's a very strong similarity, right, to what we'll witness in color, which may look a bit different, but on a tonally, right, in terms of value, there's still the same sort of level of intensity of light going on. That's something that you'll want to keep in mind, right? If you see a really bright orange color or red color or something like that, and you really want to try to capture it, a way to study it is through a tonal value study, and that will help you understand, like, how dark, how saturated to make the colors, how bright, how neutralized you want to make your color. And then again, I think, not to make it too complicated, but a really great way, something that Guy Aitchison talks about all the time, is color temperature. A lot of great artists really use this approach, right, to think about the temperature of the color to help simplify things, because it can be complicated. But it starts with this simple tonal value relationship. I think that can be really, just the best way to think about it. So, all right. So I've got this example, monochromatic study, one color plus black and white. Again, it has all of the same features, the anatomy of the shadow that we were talking about. In this particular case, kind of thinking of it, in terms of, the dark is really the cool color in terms of a temperature. I'm sorry, the dark is the warmer color. Sorry, the dark is warmer, right? And then the light is a little bit cooler. We see that often, in life. It can be a nice way to go, but it's really a relationship. You may want to go with a cooler dark and a warmer light. It just depends on what the mood that you're trying to capture. But in this particular case, this black pigment, it really stands in for almost a sort of a blue, if you like, right? And so if we think about the complement to orange is blue, and that really helps us get some distinction. And then so here, this one is a full palette, much more full palette. What's a full palette? Well, in this particular case, it's just a lot of colors. You could make it more full. You could add another one or two or three, whatever. But if you're really dealing with something simple, or if you really want to, I think if you would like the challenge, I think kind of keeping a much more subdued palette can be a really great practice for you. And sometimes, you have a lot of different colors going on and it doesn't really make it any more colorful. So you can get some more, like if we see here, there's a little bit of, it's a little bit exciting with there's some greens and things that we're able to sort of emerge here in this more full palette version. So there's some give and take, but having more colors can just make it more complicated. Keeping it rather simple, thinking about tonal value, it can be a way to success, right? A way for you to get a handle on what it is that's going on. So, all right, very good. Okay, so today I'm gonna work on my iPad, and again, I'm not sure if I can stream it or not. Perhaps I should just sort of use my camera. Let me see if I'll try my camera here. Yeah, so there's my iPad. Let me get it squared up. Yeah, I think that'll probably do for today. Let's see, I've got a little stand for it. Let's see if that helps. I like streaming with the iPad. That was a lot of fun, but it may not. Computer may not be able to handle it. Okay, so there we go. I've got my iPad all set up. So I want to go in and this is the This is the project for today. Oh, look at that. I wonder if I can't turn off this light. Where's it coming from? Okay. Well, I'll be in the dark. Hopefully, I'll remember to turn the lights on before. Right, come here. There we go. Let's see it. Okay, cool. Hopefully I'll remember to turn the lights on before I turn it. All right, so here's the example. I've got this photograph of this red sphere, and so if you're in the Zoom, I actually dropped that red sphere into the chat. So if you go to the chat, there's a little red sphere PNG that you can grab, Mrs. Wisdom, if you like. But again, you can take a quick screenshot, but I want to just sort of walk through, how you can sort of achieve this. And I was going to use a couple of features with Procreate that I think are really valuable. So I've got my layers panel opened up. I'm just gonna go through and just turn off some stuff. Yeah, good. And I'll start some new layers. Let's see. So start. All right. So I'm gonna make a background layer for myself, and let's see. I'm gonna make it probably, I don't know, like something like this, kind of neutralized gray green. So let me see. I'm just gonna drag it in here and drop it. Very nice. And I'll move my reference so that we can still see it. Okay, cool. So I've got some color down. I've got a background layer. Okay, cool. So next, I'm going to draw the sphere, right? So I'm just making a new layer. I'm going to draw my sphere. Let's grab some nice red, like that. Let's see. I like this wheel too. See down here, you have all the options for how you can choose your colors, right? And that's a part of what we're talking about today, is just some of the features that you can, some of the things that you can use and Procreate. So, all right, so I'll grab some red, kind of slightly darker, I think, but nice and intense. Okay, and again, I'm going to do like we were talking about earlier. See if we can make a perfect circle. So, brush I have, studio pen, that'll be all right. Okay, so circle. I'm just gonna and hold it. All right, and then so I'll edit the shape circle. Right, I can just choose the circle, and I think that's gonna work out just fine. So click off, and then I'm gonna drag my color. Hopefully this will, yeah, just fill in the shape. So again, I'll try to scooch it down so I can show that again. So I'll tap it back out. So I've made a shape, right? I held it, and then it was able to become mechanically perfect. I'm gonna go over here to the color. I'm just gonna hold my pen on it and grab it and pull it and drop it in there. And then it just fills in the shape automatically. It's a really nice feature. It can be really useful. Okay, so next, what I wanna do is show you how to make some clipping masks. So let's see. I'm gonna tap on it. Right. I'm gonna make a clipping mask. Oh, not that. Hold on. Give me a second, gang. Turn that off. Okay. I'm gonna make another layer on top of. Right. So this is a layer that's on top of this red, and I'm gonna turn that into a clipping mask. All right. I'm actually going to make one more just so that way I'm going to do some highlights and some shadows in the clipping mask, and I'll show you how that works in just a second. Okay, very nice. So clipping mask is really nice feature. There's a few other ways you can do it. I won't like, complicate this too much, so that way this is something that you'll have to experiment with and play around with. But let's just take a look. I'll look back at the layers, right? So I've got my, so layer 7 here, that's this red circle, right? And then on top of it, I have 2 other layers, and I clicked on them, and I was able to turn them into the clipping mask. So let's go on layer 8, and I'm going to select a color, slightly darker version of what I made the circle in. Let's just see how that works. I'm going to change my brush. Yeah, yeah, soft brush. So I'm in the airbrushing panel, and then the soft brush. This is a nice one. Let's see if we set this up right. So I'm going to turn down the opacity a bit so I can build it, and then see how big it is. Again, these sliders will help you determine, what you're working with. So let's see how we did. Yeah, cool. So as you can see, I'm just able to go over this shape, and it's obeying the boundaries of the circle, right? It's a mask that clips to this shape. So that was pretty easy to do, right? I hope that was like sort of felt easy. So I'm going to look at my reference, and I'm going to add just a little bit of value to it. So a little bit too much. So just a little bit of value to it, and push it just a little darker. I think that's nice. Starting to get there. It still needs to go a bit darker. So let me see if I turn up the opacity just a little bit more, if I'm able to. That's probably as dark as that goes. No. Mess around with a little bit more, push it just a little bit darker. We'll kind of sneak up on it, you know what I mean? All right. And then again, so we see that whole, all of that anatomy of the shadow that we were studying earlier. Okay, so nice and dark. All right, I'll just jump up on this other layer. I'm going to add a little bit of highlight. So again, we're thinking somewhat kind of cooler light, warmer dark, cooler light. So that's just how I'm thinking about it, how I'm setting it up. I mean, you just want that relationship. So all right, turn down the opacity, size, and I'm looking for where that spectral highlight is in my reference, and I think I can capture it there. So yeah, something like that. I mean, and if you want, you can always sort of use the blender. You can blend things around a bit. Till it starts to look smooth and round to you. It looks like we need to push the highlight just a little bit further. So I'm gonna go a little cooler. Kind of like that. It's like just coming around the blue violet into more of an intense sort of bluish color here, almost to the blue green. Right, and let's see, make it just a little bit lighter as well, somewhat neutralized but lighter. Okay, that should work out as a nice highlight. Let me see if I'm on my highlight layer that I set up. And let's see, I'll put that. Getting there, right? I think it's starting to get there. And then of course, I can just give that a little bit of, can blend it down, knock it back a bit if I want, or see, again, I can sort of push the value a little bit brighter if I want to. There we go. That's kind of nice, I think. It starts to resemble it. Now there's a little bit that we seem to be missing, and that's the reflected light. So let's see here. I'm gonna try to push some of that core shadow, just push it down a little bit more. That's pretty good. Okay, cool. So again, we've kind of got this warmer shadow feel here. So I'm gonna move my slider over here, magenta sort of color. But again, it's going to be kind of a darker value. Certainly, we want the reflected light to stand out, but we want it to be, it's going to be darker than the middle tones, right, that we have. So let's see how this works. make sure I'm on the right layer. Yep, the shadowy layer. So yeah, neat. Right, just it's really kind of effortless in a sort of way, able to um, really able to sort of stay within the boundaries of the shape that I created. So that's I think it's a really nice feature. Maybe you don't like the way that looks, so you can adjust it a bit. Perhaps we could go even lighter, or I'm sorry, even warmer with it, perhaps, and sort of push it and see how we do. Yeah, neat. So again, we're playing with the temperature, even though this starts to feel like a monochromatic sort of a thing. Really starting to play with the idea of the color temperatures that we perceive. So, and again, I just sort of putting some color down. I am using this smudge function just to smudge it around a little bit. But before I go any lighter here, I'm going to apply a cast shadow because I think that's really going to help sort of describe what's happening here. So here's the trick. Go back into my layers, and then this particular layer, this is the background behind all this shape and all the clipping masks that I made, right? So you can, you want to rename your layers, stay organized, please do. Maybe you can. It really gets hard to remember when you have lots and lots and lots of layers, uh, but again, it's a function that you can start to play around with, and you might find that it helps your workflow quite a bit. So, all right, go into like somewhat uh, again slightly warmer, I think here, more violet shadows. I don't want to get too, yeah, I think that would make some sense, right? We've got some of this warm stuff down here at the bottom of the sphere, and then our shadow is going to be a slightly, cooler than that. But of course, like, it's nothing compared to the really coolness of the highlight. So I think that's nice. All right, so soft brush. I am on that background layer, and so let's see what happens. I'm just sort of following along, but that's the sweet. And it's almost like an ellipse. You know what I mean? That's really kind of the shape of this particular cast of shadow. It's elliptical, sitting on a flat surface. Again, there's like a corner in my image and it sort of moves up and stuff. But I mean, we're just a little bit of invention. So there's a little bit of occluded shadow. This rubber ball, it has, does have some things going on where light is sort of passing through it and, generating a little bit of reflected light down there. But I think we can sort of push this idea, this occluded shadow. It does start to look as if it's sort of sitting on the surface. We could even go just a bit darker with it and maybe smaller. So maybe push that idea. Too small. Yeah, something like that. So you start to get that sense that it really is. There's a sharp dark there that's kind of impenetrable, where light cannot sort of get into it. So it has this dark quality, this dark character. Yeah, and so something like that, and you could continue to mess around with it and keep on pushing it. Um, but hopefully that was easy for you. And then of course, like if you're, uh, I think you can extrapolate, right? You can take these techniques and you can certainly use them, on your Procreate projects. I think I might want to. I think I want to push this just a little bit. Like I'm just going to push this down just a little tiny bit. It's a little bit extreme. I'm just sort of looking on the screen. Yeah, I think that's a little bit better, I think. But you'll just want to see what's the what works for you for the particular situation, right? If it's a tattoo, if it's a piece of digital art, if it's something that you're doing on paper, um, certainly there's you're going to want to take a step back, right? Take a step back and see what it looks like. Um, Again, that trick to test for tonal value, you can always squint your eyes and see like what is it that what is the tonal value relationship that you're seeing. uh just looking at the reference, and it's darker. Push it just a bit darker. I like that. I think that's a little bit stronger is nice, right? That cast shadow. Ooh, so something else that I, just to sort of to lend a little bit of clarity to, let's just try to notice the the quality of the edges, right? So capture this sphere. We've got a nice sharp edge. It's a really sharp, clean edge all the way around. Not unlike an outline around a tattoo, for instance. But something that I want to point out, you can see that the shadow that's on this form, right? It's starting to turn around the form. You remember our earlier example of how the light rays are passing right past this object. And so, but there's this softer transition, right? The edge of the shadow, it's slightly softened. Whereas when we see the cast shadow underneath, it's a much sharper edge, right? Not as sharp necessarily as as some of the other edges, but comparatively, the shadow edges here, right? So what I'm essentially saying is that there are these two different families of shadows. There's the form shadow that describes the form, its dimension, right? So this has a height and a width and a depth. The spectral highlight, it lets us know where the light is coming from, right? It indexes the light. It tells us light's coming from here. And then this core shadow and the way that it so softly sort of moves around the surface, it tells us the volume of this form. And so if you have a flat plane, you might have sharper sorts of shadow lines, but with this rounded object, we've got this soft form shadow edge, and then a much stronger, sharper cast shadow edge, right? You could even make it, mine is slightly soft. You could make it even a little bit sharper too, if you like, but that's certainly something that you'll want to pay attention to, is the character, the quality of the edges in your shadows. So again, it's I hope that was easy for you. Here, we can go through it real quick one more time because we've got time. So again, in my layers panel, and I'm just going to group all of these ones together so I can do something fun with it. Right, so there's that. All right, so again, in my layers panel, turn off my example. I'll move it down there. I've got a background layer. I've got some shadow on it. I also have this red dot, right? That's the shape. Okay. And it becomes the parent to these clipping masks, right? So what did I do? I started here, I added a layer, and then I was able to turn it into a clipping mask, right? And you could add as many, I suppose, as you'd like, but you just keep it simple for yourself. So that way you're able to navigate and manage all of the, the workflow. So clipping masks can be a really, really great tool to use to make non-destructive digital artwork. And again, I think, we're trying to tie together some of this really, this thinking about how shadows work has been around for a long, long time. But it also, I think it really corresponds to the way that we perceive the world. So that can be very valuable. And then additionally, we're thinking about some of the new technology and how we can incorporate that into our regular drawing practices. So, and then let's see. something that could be kind of fun. I'll turn off. Let's see what to do. Yeah. So here is one that here's another version. I just sort of grouped it all together. Let's see. Am I on that layer? Yeah, I'm on that layer. And I might be able to curves. Check it out. Let's see if I can adjust it. So kind of use the curves function. Let's see here. Take out some of the red. Let's see. There's some. There we go. You know, play around with it, and you can do really interesting things. Ooh. Maybe you'll make a mess. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, maybe you'll make something really cool, right? So play around with um, your iPad, and sort of explore it. Don't be afraid to make a mistake, because that's how you will learn. All right, let me turn on my other cameras. It's going to be about that time. So, ooh, my my screen's all greasy. All right. Excellent. All right, we're back. And we're back. So, Mom, how did it go? How did your drawing go today? Can you would you like to show it? Were you able to follow along? Let's see, you are muted. Let me see if I can here, ask you to unmute real quick, and I'm gonna pin you. I want to pin you so we can see.
Okay, it looks
Neat.
Like outer space.
No, I think you did really well. How did it go? Were you able to use the clipping masks and stuff?
I found those. I'm such a novice at using Procreate that I just mostly are stripes, but I need to learn to blend them. But yeah, I loved watching how you could take that and put the layers on it, and you see colors that I haven't seen yet. So I've got to really work on that. Seeing the different colors. I never would have thought there was a purpley magenta color in a red ball. So I think you froze.
Well, we were making. Oh, I don't know if you can hear me now, but we were making up some of it. Like we certainly were, like, embellishing a bit, but again, I just want to sort of uh, highlight that we're thinking about it in terms of the temperature. So think about different temperatures, and you can have warm cools and cool warms. I know that maybe sounds weird, but when you're looking at the wheel, you can see it. Like there's there's a warmer green and a cooler green. There's more blue. That's going to be a cooler version. There's ones that are going to be more neutralized. That may, more element, it could get warmed up, right? If it's vice versa. So it's a lot of fun, but colors you can get lost in. So I think the most important thing to remember is is the tonal value structure, right? So remember your values, and that's really going to help you navigate the really complicated world of color. But also, I think just studying things from life, practicing, whether practicing on your tablet or practicing on those can all be really, really valuable things you do. So yeah, thanks for drawing along. You did a great job. It really it's really exciting to see that. I think like, if really honest, if you saw it, a couple of weeks ago or months ago, you'd see how impressive that is, that you have that power and strength, that you can make these objects look like they appear. They really have a lot of volume and a lot of dimension. So excellent work. It was fun. It was fun getting to draw with you. So and it was really fun getting to draw with you all as well. I really hope that you all like had a good time. And again, if you want to like rewatch any part of this video, it should be available for free on YouTube forever. So check it out. Maybe there's something that maybe there's something of value for you, and you can reinvestigate it and start to learn it just a little bit more. So anyway, on that note, I want to thank you all again for coming. Drawing for Tattooers, I'm James Wisdom. Thank you, Guy Atchison, and all the rest of the Reinventing the Tattoo crew. Just amazing working with all of you. And that's it. We'll see you